Hey guys, Chris from the Hidden Reserve here. In today's video, I want to be talking about how to use your money twice, how to earn interest on the same dollar twice. This is a concept I've covered a few other times on the channel, but I really wanted to take time today to make this longer video, really deep diving on what exactly this means. So the first thing I want to talk about is the problem, how most of us use our money, and I want to give some examples. So most of us, we use our money one time. We spend it and it's gone, or we invest it and it's locked up and we don't have access to it, whether that's through traditional retirement accounts and we have penalties and things of that nature. But either way, in both of these scenarios that I just laid out there, our money only works in one place. And what I'm going to be covering today is we have the ability to earn interest or make our money work for us in two different ways. So the first thing I want to dive into is the lost opportunity cost. And the example I want to give, and I'm going to deep dive on this later in the video, is you spend $30,000 on a car, let's say you're paying cash for it, that money's gone forever. You're never going to see those dollars again. So yes, you purchased the car in cash, you don't have any debt, great, but now you've given up the opportunity to earn interest on the $30,000 that you paid for the car. Which, there's nothing wrong with that, but what I'm going to be covering is another way to go about that. So we have to just keep in mind, as we go along with this, is it's either you're paying cash or you're getting financing from some other lender. What most likely is going to be a bank, especially if you're getting a car. But the third thing I'm going to be covering is the other opportunity, or the other vehicle that allows you to keep your dollars working for you, and also being able to get the thing that you want, whether it's a car or if you're making an investment of some sort. So next thing I'm going to dive into is the concept of using your money twice. So the first thing we need to cover here is what vehicle are we repositioning funds to make this happen? And I've covered it in other videos, but if you're new, we're talking about a high cash value whole life insurance policy. And it's not your off-the-shelf whole life insurance policy that your grandpa has. It's a very specially designed policy with a mutual insurance carrier. And the mutual insurance carriers we work with have been around for over 100 plus years. So they have a really good track record of paying out claims and delivering on their promises and paying dividends as well, which is not guaranteed, but the carriers we work with have been paying dividends for over 100 years consecutively. So that's really important to understand the mechanism or the foundation of earning interest on the same dollar twice. So it's using a high cash value whole life insurance policy. So the process here, and I'm going to spend time diving into this, is we're going to use that $30,000 car example again. So let's say inside of your whole life insurance policy, you have $100,000. We'll keep it simple. You have $100,000 inside your policy. Most of the carriers that I work with, you're going to get a guaranteed rate of return on your cash value around 3%. Okay, so 3%, and then on top of that, like I covered earlier, you're going to get a dividend from the insurance carrier. So you're getting 3% plus dividends, and the net on that is going to be around 3 to 4%. Okay, because there's insurance costs and other fees you have to factor in to get your true internal rate of return on these policies. So it's going to be right around 3 to 4%. Some cases it may be higher over time, but we're going to be conservative here and go with 3 to 4%. So that's really important to keep in mind. So inside of your policy, you've got $100,000 in cash value, and you're earning, we'll call it 3.5%. We'll meet right in the middle. 100 grand in your policy, earning 3.5%. Now, if you want to go buy the car for $30,000, what you're going to do instead of paying for it in cash or getting a loan from a bank, what you're going to do is you're going to take a loan against your cash value life insurance policy. You're going to take a loan against the whole life policy. So you've got 100 grand in there. You're going to request a loan against 100 grand for, in this case, $30,000. The life insurance carrier that you're with is going to loan you the $30,000. Now keep in mind, there's going to be interest on that loan. There's no free lunch. There's no free money here. But the $30,000 loan you're getting from the life insurance carrier is simple interest, which is super important to be aware of. And the other thing with the loan that you get from the life insurance carrier is you have full control on how you want to go about paying that back to the life insurance carrier. So you're not bound to the terms that the life insurance carrier sets in terms of how you have to go about repaying that loan. So you have a lot more flexibility and control with these types of loans. And I want to go a little bit deeper on that, because if you get a loan from a bank, who's in control of the loan, you or the bank? Well, obviously it's the bank. They set the terms and you have to abide by that. With these life insurance carrier loans, you have a lot more flexibility to go about it. So you can pay the loan back exactly like, or let me back up. If you got a loan, if you were looking at getting a loan from a bank and you decided not to go with that and you instead got the loan with the life insurance carrier, you could repay the loan back to the life insurance carrier as if you were paying it back to the bank if you wanted to. And then you still have flexibility, like if you didn't want to do that anymore, you could switch it up at any point in time. So it's just important to be aware of your options and the ways you can go about repaying life insurance loans. So now getting back on track, I know I went on a tangent there, but it's really important to be aware of that. You have this $30,000 loan now at, let's call it 5%. We'll go up a little bit, 5.5%. That's pretty standard across the board. Some life insurance carriers' interest rates are higher, some are lower, but 5.5% is pretty standard around that. So let's say you have this $30,000 loan at 5.5% simple interest. You have the loan, you go use that money to buy the car in cash. So you use the $30,000, you bought the car in cash. Now you own the car outright. You now have to make payments back to the life insurance carrier to pay that loan off that you got from them. But meanwhile, while you were doing that or using their money, your full $100,000 in your cash value was earning 3.5% the whole time, as if you never touched the money. So that's the power of using a whole life insurance policy set up this way, is you can use it as a financing tool to acquire, whether it's a car or investments, and I'm going to dive into that more, but you can use it as a financing tool while your money still earns interest inside of the policy, guaranteed plus the dividends. And that is so important to just wrap your brain around, is you're earning this asset, this policy is guaranteed to appreciate over time. And then on top of that, you get dividends from the carrier, which is not guaranteed, but the carriers we work with have been paying dividends consecutively for over 100 years. And that's the other way to go about financing, and the way you can earn interest on the same dollar twice. So you're earning a guaranteed rate. To recap, you're earning a guaranteed rate plus dividends inside of the policy. So that's one area or one way you're earning money on your money. And then the other area, which I didn't cover this yet, is when you borrow against the policy and you use the money for an investment, and hopefully you're making a good investment where you can get a return, that's where you can earn money on the same dollar in another way. So you're earning interest on the dollar inside of your policy, and then externally on whatever investment you decided to make, and hopefully you're making a return on that. That's the power of this strategy. So that, I went deep on that because it's just so important to know, like, what are some options you have out there instead of the traditional way or traditional advice about going about your purchases in life, bigger purchases, cars, homes, vacations, weddings, things of that nature, and also investments. So next thing I want to cover here, or tying it all into what I just went over here, is the biblical principle around all of this. So Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." So using this type of structure or strategy is just showing that you're maximizing what was given to you. You're being a good steward of your resources because you're figuring out, okay, great, how can I maximize the dollars that I have? How can I most effectively go about using the money that was entrusted to me? This is just one example of doing that. And then lastly too, like in Genesis 41, when Joseph stored up the grains and multiplied it for many generations. That is another example of just being a wise steward of what's given to you. And then lastly, what I want to go over is just recapping again the benefits of using the same dollar twice, or earning interest on the same dollar twice. So number one, guaranteed growth every single year. So with these whole life insurance contracts, you are guaranteed to get interest on it no matter what happens. As long as the insurance carrier is still standing strong, and the carriers we work with have been around for 100+ years, your policy is going to increase in value because you're getting credited that guaranteed rate of return. And then the non-guaranteed aspect is dividends. But again, the carriers we work with have paid dividends consecutively for over 100 years. So guaranteed growth on the policy every single year. Next up is the liquidity of these policies. The cash value is accessible to you. There's no 59.5 rule. There's no penalty for accessing it early. You don't have any of that. You can access it at any point in time. So when there's an opportunity, like an investment opportunity that pops up, or you're making a bigger purchase like we covered, like a $30,000 car, you can tap into that money when you need to. Next is the protection. Didn't cover this yet, but this is very important, is you have creditor protection on your money from lawsuits and judgments. So if you were to get sued, the money inside of your cash value is protected. Very, very important to be aware of that. It's just an added benefit to doing this. And then lastly, what I want to cover is the legacy piece to this. So with all of these policies, we've been putting a lot of emphasis on the cash value, but since it's life insurance, you also have a death benefit. When you pass away, that death benefit is passed on to your kids, your grandkids, your church, whoever you're leaving the money to. It's passed on income tax free. So it's very powerful to be aware of. And then just an analogy I wrote down here. It's like, think of it as a well that refills itself even when you draw water. That's essentially when a policy, a whole life policy is set up this way, that's essentially how it works. So just a conclusion to wrap everything up here. I hope you got value from this video. This is a strategy that I've covered on the channel multiple times. And if you're new, I hope that this brought or shed some light to you on what's possible and just other ways to go about your financing needs, and also how you can best use some of your dollars, especially if it's dollars that you don't need access to anytime soon. And I have another video titled, I believe it's Idle Cash, and that's talking about repositioning dollars that are just sitting in a checking account or savings account that you don't need anytime soon to a policy like this, and then basically using it the same exact way that we covered in this video. So hope you got value. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. And then also, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them there. And then last thing is, I have in the description of this video, if you're a business owner, there's a link for you. And then if you're not a business owner, there's another link right below that link. And it's a blueprint link. So if you click on it, there's a quick survey to fill out, and I will build you a custom blueprint to show you how to increase guaranteed income. And if you're a business owner, reduce taxes as well. And if I can't do that for you, I will donate $100 to the ministry of your choice. And I have a lot more info on that below, so click the link. You'll see it'll take you to a landing page. Just check that out if you're interested, and I will get that plan over to you in less than 72 hours. But that's it for today's video. Hope you got value from it, and I will catch you in the next video.